I saw a video, well, not most of it, not even half of it, but some of the video about suicide where there's a website shown that supports killing yourself. And it showed that the people who control the website, they encourage people to end their lives, their mortal lives. And this guy who wears lipstick because he likes to pretend to be what he isn't talked about that. I said they're atheists, the people who promote killing others or killing themselves. Those who promote suicide in that forum, they're atheists. Nihilism just means atheism without lying about some of the implications of it. So what is nihilism? Nihil from the Latin for zero or nothing, right? Well, nothing. No one is Nemo, like Finding Nemo. Nihilism, like annihilate is to reduce to nothing. So nihil, nothing, right? Nothingism, in other words, that nothing matters in the end. That objectively there's no point in anything because we're all going to die and there's nothing after. That's nihilism. That's that position, that belief system, of at least one belief. And how is it atheism? Well, what is atheism? Atheism is that you don't believe in a God. And bam, that's it, right? No, there's more to it than just that. There are implications which dishonest atheists pretend don't exist because they are indefensible implications on morality, especially. So, if you're an atheist, you don't believe man is made in the image of God. You believe man is just an accident, which is very degrading. You believe humans are animals, which is very degrading. Atheism is very degrading. And atheism says you and your loved ones will die and there's nothing else. That's what atheism says. But it also promises you that you can get away with evil when you die. So atheism is very appealing to criminals. Atheism is for evil people. And they will say, oh, the Bible is for evil people. All you have to do is make a prayer and you get scot-free. No, no, no. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. God knows your heart. He knows your mind. He knows what you think before you think it, and he cannot be fooled. If you're not sincere, it's not going to work. And his punishment as the substitute Jesus pays for that. So there's nothing free. Someone had to pay for it. Jesus pays for it. And so atheists do damage control because they know that these forum leaders who promoted suicide, encourage people to kill themselves, they know that they're evil. They're truly evil people. Even atheists know they're evil. Even atheists know that. So atheists are trying to do damage control, trying to distance atheism from nihilism, even though nihilism is the same thing, except by people who recognize some of the implications. You're going to die, there's no point. That's an implication of there being no afterlife from no God. Some cookie crumbs are in my throat. I didn't finish eating, that's why it happened. Let's see here. What's with this rainbow stealing tradition? That's nonsense. Anyway, some guy said this shit. But you know what? I had a lot of atheists attack me, but I have a 15-minute time limit per video. I'm not going to cover everything. But you can pause and read. You can pause and read their shit. I'm going to focus on one of them, the one who did the essay response. But before that, you can look at my responses to them, so you can see how stupid they are and self-righteous and retarded. And the deliberately retarded as opposed to the other type. You know, if it's not your fault, I'm not going to make fun of you. But if you're retarded by choice, then you deserve to be made fun of. You know, it's like saying terrorists tend to be Muslims. Then you have Muslims saying, oh no, how dare you say that? Nihilists tend to be atheists. Oh no, how dare you say that? You point out the elephant in the room and they get upset. So those are my responses to their shit. But here is the longest shit that was shat towards me by an atheist here. He calls himself Braden Best. Now his very username is narcissistic. He calls himself Best. More like Beast. After all, atheists believe you're just a beast You can't get upset. I'm saying what you say about yourselves. You say you're a beast. I agree, you're a beast. Happy? Happy? Oh no! He's abusing us. He's calling us animals. I'm agreeing with you. So if I agree with you, I'm bad. If I disagree, I'm bad. Wow. There's no way around it. I'm always bad to you. Impossible to be right. So in response to me, he said, as an atheist and a nihilist, I can confidently say, now he says confidently, and later he says, I can say with 100% confidence. Look at the way this person talks. It's disgusting and pathetic. You know, I wasn't questioning how deluded and confident in his delusion he was. I believe he's confident. You have to point it out. To point it out just makes me think, all right, I guess you're not confident because you have to point it out. He's like, you're wrong on both counts. And you can't prove that, but you just say that. Atheism means rejecting the idea of God, period. And then he's like, I'm not convinced, which is like what a narcissist would say. The world doesn't care if you're convinced or not. God doesn't need you to be convinced. It's not about you. Nihilism means something entirely different. Entirely is a lie. Gets that later. He says, I like living. I didn't say you don't like living, so Strawman fallacy. Look at this shit. Every living thing is just a sack of shit, and then we just stop existing. That's what he says. So that's very degrading. He demands respect, he doesn't respect himself. He says he's an accident and just an animal. Wow, such hypocrisy. But what do you expect from atheists? He says he has a paradox of free will. So he realizes he does have free will, in the sense of the ability to choose things. Yeah, of course you have free will. That's undeniable. You have to be an idiot to deny that. But the thing about free will is it cannot exist if there is no God. He says it's a paradox. How can it exist without a God when that requires freedom from physics? In other words, something metaphysical to exist, a metaphysical mind, a spirit, and therefore from a great spirit. That is necessary for choice to exist. He calls it a paradox. He's lying. A paradox is something that looks like a contradiction but is not. No, it is a contradiction, because how can you have freedom if you are just a sack of physical things? Physical things are cogs in a machine. They don't choose where they go. They're physical slaves to physics. The brain is not the mind. It's a physical thing. It's a slave to physics. The mind is free to think, so they're different. But atheists confuse correlation with causation when they cite brain scans. And he says, my brain is just neurons. See how they regurgitate the propaganda they've been fed? They mindlessly swallow. They never question anything. This is what atheists are. They're not free thinkers. They're the opposite. And it's disgusting how they have to say the opposite of reality. It's always the opposite of reality with them. And then he says, AI. AI is a misnomer. I get to that later. Then he admits he's afraid of spiders. Well, I guess I can agree with him on this point. You're afraid of spiders. Atheism and nihilism are not all doom. I didn't say that they're all doom and gloom. Strawman fallacy. Now, nihilism doesn't even mean all doom, because there is happiness if you're a nihilist, if you know that people you hate are gonna not be happy anymore because they're dead, and that would supposedly be the end of them. Even though that also means that they would never suffer, which is blissful, isn't it? So, what else? He says, I'm free to live life as I see fit. Well, I respond to this and quote it later. You can pause and read if you don't want. And then he's like, drops mic as if anything was accomplished here. As if anything was accomplished. He says, I will cease to exist. Where did he prove this? Where did he prove that the brain equals the mind? He never proved this. Or that the mind is entirely physical or a physical thing. He never proved this. It's circular reasoning. Petitio principii. You are illogical atheists. You're not smart. And you're pathetic how you have to cheerlead for someone lying and proving nothing other than how willfully ignorant he is. So my response to that person, whose name is Braden Bass, supposedly. Let's see where that is. I said, so he said atheism means rejecting the idea of God. I said it means more than that implicitly. You atheists are dishonestly trying to hide behind atheism meaning only one thing explicitly, as if it had no implications. Why don't you bow to Mecca? Answer me if atheism has to do with that. And you know what? He doesn't answer me. Let's go to the response. This is a response. So this is 5 hours ago. And here, this was 6 hours ago. So this is his response to, why don't you bow to Mecca? Let's see if he even mentions Mecca. Do you see Mecca here? Of course you don't. Oh, hold up. It doesn't even show up. I hate this. Hold on. Let me redo this. Oh, by the way, that's me in the background. Let me redo this positioning here so you can see. So does he mention Mecca? Does he answer my question? Why do you not bow to Mecca? It's because you're an atheist. In other words, that proves that atheism has implications. And he crushes his lie that atheism means only one thing. No, it doesn't. That's hiding behind something being merely explicit, as if the implicit doesn't exist. Disgusting, dishonest atheist. So again, my question was, in case you forgot already, my question was, why don't you bow to Mecca? Answer me. If atheism has to do with that. And then here's what he says and what he doesn't say. So again, does he mention Mecca? Here? No, he does not. He just acts stupid. He says something here that then he quotes me crushing. So he says a stupid argument that I crush, and he even quotes the argument where I crush it. That's really pathetic and ridiculous and desperate. But what do you expect from atheists? So he rants about shit here and lies. He pretends that there are no implications, even though I give an example, the Mecca one. You don't bow to Mecca because you're an atheist. You don't do Muslim things because you're an atheist. In the sense of bowing to Mecca, for example, there are Muslim things like Muslims, they talk in Arabic sometimes, and atheists can do that too. But bowing to Mecca is something atheists don't do unless they're mocking Muslims. So what implications are you referring to? So he acts stupid. Atheists have to act stupid and they do a really good job at it. At that, they have a lot of practice acting stupid, unintentionally. And then he talks about shit and more shit without answering my question, as you can see. Look how cowardly, pathetic, and weak and easily defeated this atheist is. And he wants to hide his impotence in a huge essay as if he has a point. He never has a point. I don't have to deal with his points, his so-called points, when he runs away from my questions. If they don't want to play fair, I won't play with them. Unless I give them a freebie just to show I'm not afraid. But for the sake of this video, which is already 13 minutes long, I have 2 minutes left. Threatening me with hellfire. See, he changes the subject to his unholy feelings as if it matters. Now, I'm not really threatening you because I'm not the one who's going to put you there. Also, you don't believe hell is real. You said you weren't 100% confident, so why does this upset you? If someone tells me a unicorn is going to pierce you through the stomach and I don't believe in unicorns, am I going to be upset at them and call them and say that they're threatening me, that their unicorn god is going to send a unicorn? No, I'm going to laugh at them if that's my position on them. But no, he's actually upset. Why? Because he knows. He knows that he doesn't know. He knows that he only wishes there is no hell. And actually I already proved there's a hell in the post. I referred to the video where I proved the Bible right, and he of course ignores that because he's a coward. Does he mention Mecca? Does he answer my question? No. He's even talking about the river Styx from Greek mythology without answering my question. So, blah blah blah. He says I spread hatred even though he hates the truth. He's a truth phobe who hates the truth and pretends that all hatred is bad. So hatred is alright when you do it, of course, you hypocrite, you disgusting hypocrite. Us versus them rhetoric, well, that's what you do too. Because you say I'm bad and you say you're good. I mean, we're doing the same us versus them thing, you hypocrite. Malice, I don't have malice. Loving that evil people won't get away with evil isn't a malice. It's called love of justice. He says I'm a dick. No, I will never be a dick to you. I'm not a homosexual. Etc., 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 etc. He doesn't answer my question. He asked me a question about random wars that had nothing to do with nor my religion. Instead of answering my question, he pretends that I abused him. No, he probably abuses himself. He's probably a drug addict. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. He says I'm wrong without proving it. Blah, blah, blah. He says I'm queer. YouTube doesn't allow me to say what I actually think about that. But, I mean, I have a video on that, but they usually get taken down. Anyway, as you can see, He just insults me and lies about me, slanders me, runs away from my question. He's a pathetic loser. That's what atheists are.